So we need to change management. Change management. Right, so this is going to be it's going to form part of our discussion for at least the next 2 hours. In the next 2 hours, I believe we should be done with this change management. So at the end of the day, our thinking is, if you're going to have an organization and the organization is in an environment that is constantly changing, then if the environment is constantly changing, then we need to manage that change. And I remember we said that the business normally operates in something called the what? The business environment. And the business environment has what is called the macro and micro factors. And these factors are constantly what? Changing. And therefore we have to do what? We have to adapt, to survive, to thrive. To survive means you make it by the end of the day. Normally when you survive, it is because you have predators. And the predators want to do what? They want to eat the prey. It's a kingdom. You have animals that want to eat the others. There are businesses that will merge with you. They want to acquire you. You will be eaten. And of course, if you thrive, it means that you are successful. You have something called competitive advantage, and therefore you are a leader. And therefore you are a leader. Rather than being a follower, you are a leader or you are a challenger in the market. And of course, to do all this, we were able to say that we need several strategies. We need several strategies. And I believe when we did our SWOT analysis, we were able to come up with the strategies that we can be able to use. When we did our 5 force industry model, we were able to come up with the strategies that we need. Yeah. So today, essentially today, we want to look at change management. And when you look at change management, we'll start by defining change. Yeah? We'll start by defining change. And we'll say this here. According to Moses Cantor, all right, according to Moses Cantor, change is innovation. Change is innovation. According to Moses Cantor, change is innovation, which can be defined as a process, of bringing solutions to problems. So most Cantor anasema that change is innovation, and change is a process of bringing solutions to problems. Now, if you are to take this part alone, innovation, then you would say, go back to the chapter of creativity and innovation, and there we discuss types of what? Innovation. We had process innovation, we had product innovation, we had organizational innovation, or the model that you normally operate in. Yeah, you're able to look at that. So Moses Cantor has change is what? Innovation, a process of bringing solutions to what? To problems. All right, here's another definition. Change is the only constant factor in the business environment where we try to solve problems, and create value for the organization. So whenever we do change management, not only do we want to solve problems, we want to do what? Create value. Because if you're not creating value, then what are we doing? Tunataka to be profitable. So that is that. Another concept of change is that it is the differences, the adaptations, the renewals, and the innovation. So at the end of the day, you see us still meeting the same definition. Let us look at types of change. I think I can write it, it's going to be visible. Types of change. Ni mingi sana. Ya kwanza ni hii, my favorite one. Structural change. Structural change. Now, if you remember, kwele chapter ilikuwa inaitwa organizing, tulisema organizational structure, which means structural change ni nini? The change of the structure of the organization. In Kenya zamani tulikuwa na president na deputy president. And then ikafika mahali tukakuwa na prime minister. Si ndio? During Kibaki's time. And then after Kibaki's time ikarudi kwa president na vice president. Nowadays nasikia wanataka ile kitu ya BBI last time, yeah? They wanted also to change. So you see colors of propositions. So this is called structural change. In your company, there was a board of directors and a CEO. Now they have decided to remove the board of directors. We only have the CEO. We have several head of departments, finance, HR, NIMI. They decide to drop HR and then they just have finance, and finance does recruitment. That is a structural change. Number two, we have what is called transitional change. Transitional change. When we talk about transitional change, most of the time he says that this is the adoption of change from the current status quo. Transition. What is to transition? To transition means that it's ongoing. For example, take Nokia, for example. Nokia, walikuwa wanatengeneza smartphone. There's a smartphone, there's a touch smartphone. Now they have seen that smartphones are no longer profitable. They want to start making computers. So what do? They do transitional change. They move from producing what? Phones to producing what? Computers. Okay. Tuangalie kama hotel. You're a hotel. Now you go make food, drinks, and all that. And then you have realized that business is not really profitable. So you now want to convert your hotel to a rental. So in that process of converting hotel to rental, transitional change. Or you had a leader and that leader is being replaced. Transitional change. Number two, we have what is called transformative change. Transformative change. Transformative change. What is to transform something? What is to transform? You can transform water into ice. You can transform water into vapor by boiling it. So you can imagine this is the kind of situation that we have here. We are thinking about our company in the sense of we are using a particular technology and that technology is no longer relevant. And now we want to drop using that technology to use a new technology. So it is only transformative change. Maybe tunatumia model na la tumeona zina hang. So tukamwatacha kutumia model, tunatumia HP. Maybe tukatumia HP, ziko cost yake iko very expensive and we want to save cost. So tukaanza kutumia Dell. Transformative change. Then we have what is called behavioral change. What is behavioral change? Hello, I want to take you back to theories of management. We had worker X and worker Y. So you can imagine, if you wanted to change worker X to become worker Y, behavioral change. Many people come late. Unapenda kuchelewa kila saa, kila wiki. Na unataka waache kuchelewa. What do? Behavioral change. Does it make sense? Or kuna sexual harassment at the workplace. Na unataka sexual harassment ishe. What do you have to engage in? Behavioral change. Umepeleka kwa work pale treasury na kuna wizi. Na unataka wizi ishe. And you're the new minister of finance. Utabidi umefanya nini? Behavioral change, because it's the behavior, it is the attitude of the worker you want to change. Also, you can also target to change the behavior of your customer. Customer, they receive their goods on Friday. You can find a way to manipulate so that they now adjust and say, I will be expecting goods on Saturday. The next one is called technological change. Technological change. Now, technological change is change that has to do with technology. The methods of production, the process of production, the tools of production, they keep on changing. 4 years ago, today maybe it's no longer that useful. So when we talk about technological change, that's what we mean. And then of course, ya mwisho inaitwa strategic change. What is strategic change? This is the change that is made by the top level managers. The top level managers. For example, your business is East Africa Breweries, and you are doing business in East Africa, and you decide you're going to abandon the East African market and focus on the West African market. That would be something called what? Strategic change. You are Coca-Cola. For the longest time, we have known you from producing non-alcoholic drinks. And then you decide, as from next year, we will no longer be doing an alcoholic. Tutaingia sasa kwa nini? Alcoholic drinks. Itakuwa nini? Strategic change. Strategic what? Change. Look at Kibaki when he comes in to the ministries. Hello. Anasema, kutakuwa na Ministry of Education, kutakuwa na Ministry of Education, na kutakuwa na Ministry of Higher Education. It's a strategic change. There is something phenomenal that you want to do that will require a lot of resources, that will involve a very huge risk, and that decision will be taken again by the who? By the top level management. That is what is called what? Strategic change. We go to the next one. Causes of change. Causes of change. I hope you're able to see. I hope you're able to see causes of change. Is it tuko nazo? Uliandika? Yes. Yes, Rogers. Causes of change. Yeah, causes of change. I'll start. Nitasema tu chache. The more I continue discussing, itaongezea zingine. Causes of change. I hope you are writing these two things somewhere. The first cause of change is this one, yeah? Deliberate initiative by the managers. Deliberate initiative by the managers. Deliberate initiative by the managers. As a manager, you are the one who is stimulating the change. Deliberate initiative by the manager. As a manager, you are the one stimulating the change. Hello, Rogers. What would you like to see different in your organization? Tuseme ni mkubwa wa bank. Ni nini ungependa kuona ikibadilika? Maybe wanaoshanga asubuhi saa 7 na jioni. You may say, "Hapana, I want the bank to be clean whenever it's dirty." Bora kuna uchafu clean. Wewe usiniambie ati ni asubuhi saa 7 na jioni. Ukiona uchafu karada safisha. That's deliberate change. Maybe you used to use Taxify to send out your documents, and now you say, "No, we will no longer use Taxify. Let us be using Uber." That is a deliberate change by the manager. Next one is changes imposed due to changes in policies and procedures. Due to changes in policies and procedures. Due to changes in policies and procedures. Whenever there is a change in the policy and the procedure, then definitely that is going to cause change. Let me give you an example. Whenever we have the cycles of the economy, what are the cycles of the economy? Kuna trough, kuna boom, kuna recession. So what are the cycles of the economy? At each stage, at each cycle of the economy, there is what action that you're going to take. Also, kumbuka tulisoma juzi, the business life cycle. Nakumbuka business life cycle. Ilikuwa na introduction stage, growth stage, maturity stage na decline. So kwa kila stage kuna kitu ulikuwa unafanya. True or false? So when you took that action, when you change how you do business depending on the stage where you are causing change. Sure. All right. Alafu kuna external pressures. I'll come back to that. I'll give you more. Just a little bit introduction. Kuna external causes of change. What are the external causes of change? Hii sinanga maneno mingi nasemanga tu best term. Nasema watu nini? Best term. External causes of change, best term. When there's the change of the political environment. Kama sisi Kenya tunaingia situation ya political stability, instability. Where are we heading to? The political temperatures, the climate, it is likely to cause change. There are people who are going to take insurance. There are people who are going to close down their businesses. There are people who are going to economic factor. Have you seen the other business that has closed again? Which is the latest business that has closed down because of the economic conditions? Apart from one, there's another one that closed. These are not watching news again. Hello. I don't want to be news. So when these ones change, the business also, there's cause of change. Social cultural factors. Hello. If you look at a particular environment, hello, the kind of people who are living there, their attitude, their preferences, as they keep on changing, then the cause of change arises. Kama ulikapona youth wengi, now those youth are become older persons, their buying attitudes and patterns change. If you're the children, and now the children are no longer children, easy factors to change, technology, environment, legal. When the laws change, they become a cause of change. Alafu ingine, another cause of change inaitwa evolution. Evolution. Basi ile evolution ya Charles Darwin, no, ini evolution of the generations. Hello. Yuko na singa generation Z, hello, watu wa 90s, watu wa 80s. Have you heard of such? Hello. Different generations, as they evolve through time, they have new tastes and preferences. Today's people, do they want movie on the phone or do they rather buy a cassette? Movie on the phone. Kwa nini? Kuna phone technology, kuna internet. They want their movie here. They want their music here. They want their songs here. Previously, you'd buy a cassette recorder. I remember I used to have something called a palito. Nilikuwa na palito. Unayekeanga hapa hivi. Nilikuwa na kaeri, alafu unapitisha earphones huko hivyo. Unaweka hapa tu nikushie tu kichwa. Hello. But today hakuna. Nowadays there is the iPod. Squeeze hakuna earphones ni wireless. So even their attitude. Today's young generation, how do they want to come dressed to work on Saturday and Friday? Casual Friday, casual Friday, casual Saturday. Very soon itafika mahali watakuwa nasema hakuna kwenda kazi Friday. Hiyo ni siku ya kuchapa sherehe. Just wait, it's only a matter of time. Very soon their attitudes are changing. You just have to cope up with that. Kujaribu kudeal na wao utapata situation. So you have to be intelligent in how you deal with them. So that's our introduction to change management. And now let us get into it. The first question is this one here, yeah? Why change management? Why change management? That's my first question. Why change management? Why change? Why should we go for change management? Why should we go for management? And the reason is this. The reason is this, yeah? Organizations want to be in a better position to handle the unforeseen and plan for it. Number one is position. You want to position yourself to better handle the unforeseen. To better handle the unforeseen. Position. You want to position yourself. Change management. Why? You want to better position yourself to handle the unforeseen. Next one. Initiative. Initiative. What is initiative? Rather than being reactive, you become proactive. Rather than become reactive, you want to become what? Proactive, initiative. You don't want the change to get to you, you want to get to the change. Next one. We normally say organizations are forced to respond timing. Timing. To deal with underlying issues. Timing. There are things that are within the organization that if you are not able to detect them on time, they could lead to your organization shutting down. So if you're to engage in change management, your timing becomes impeccable. And your timing improves, you're better able to deal with the situation. Next one, flexibility. Why flexibility? See this? To make better decisions. Flexibility to make better decisions. So at the end of the day, that's why we want to engage in change management. I would like you to kaitu pale. The moment tunakaa pale hivi tunatulia tunagoja things to happen, then it's likely that you're going to lose. Then we have levels of change management. I remember last time in chapter 1, tuko tunaangalia levels of management. Tukaangalia top level, middle level, and low level. So leo tunaangalia levels of change management. And number 1, we have what is called the individual change management. You want to deal with the individual. Is it your group activity? The individual, you want to help the individual. You want to influence their behavior. You want to train them. Okay, let me just mention them. Hello. Come at the individual, you want to increase their awareness. You want to increase their awareness. You want to improve their competency. You want to challenge. Their strengths. All right. Another one. Individual level. Yeah. See this. To deal with the individual, to influence their behavior, you can adopt the carrot and stick approach. To deal with the individual and influence their behavior, you can adopt the carrot and stick approach. So, Rogers, would you prefer the carrot or the stick? Carrot. Carrot inamaanisha nini? Carrot is it a fruit or a vegetable? Good question. Hello. Good response. Hello. A carrot is something desirable, something sweet. So if you have your donkey, your donkey, na utakaende katika maji, unaziwekea carrot pale hivi mbele. When it looks at that carrot, it wants to bite, and then it moves. As it moves, this donkey is working. It's achieving its purpose. Or if the donkey does not want the carrot, maybe meshiba. Now you use the what? The stick. Now let me build on that matter. Look at this. Same idea. It's interesting for you. Yeah. Say this, yeah? The carrot represents positive reinforcement. 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 I.e. Frederick Herzberg two-factor theory, the satisfiers. Is it the satisfiers? The satisfiers. I believe so. If I'm not wrong. Hello. The satisfiers. Easy. These are the carrots. Ya kwanza ni nini? Challenging work. Achievement. Advancement. Recognition. Work itself. Responsibility. These are the carrots. Usitafute carrot ingine. These are the carrots. They motivate. Hello. They increase satisfaction. Hello. They increase what? Satisfaction. That is what you want. Those are the satisfiers. Those are the carrots. That is what you can use to motivate the worker to perform their work. Guys online, are you able to see the screen? Hello. Guys online, you're able to see the screen? Joyce, Prudence, Warmbury. Hello. The carrot represents positive reinforcement. Positive what? Reinforcement. Right. The stick represents negative reinforcement. The stick represents negative reinforcement. I.e. Douglas McGregor theory X and Y. Alafu nimmentionie how to deal with worker X. No, sasa. How do you deal with worker X? How do you deal with worker X? How do you deal with worker X? Very good. That's hizo tunaziandika tuzizi. Hapo umesema ni nini? Nini hiyo? Deliberations. Tutajia mahali hapo chini. Okay, ukiangalia hizo zote niongezee zingine. Ndio hizo sasa. Okay, let me list these ones down before we put zako. Issue verbal warning. Issue a written reprimand. Nyingine. Issue written suspension. This is my punishment. terminate the employee. Na nikisema terminate simaanishi muue, na maanisha umvute kazi. Terminate the employee. Alafu ndio ulikuwa umeniambia ni nini? Tight control. Tight control ni nini? Hizo ni strict rules and regulations. Strict rules and regulations. Ingine? Authoritarian rule. Hello, acha nikwambie ingine. Demotion. What is demotion? Mtu ambaye alikuwa amepromotiwa, unamrudisha wapi? Chini. Demotion. Suspension, ishaandika suspension. Pay cut. What is a pay cut? What is a pay cut? Dismissal, hiyo nimeshaandika. Ingine? You want to deal with this person. Huyu mtu hataki kufanya kazi. Huyu mtu hataki kufanya kazi. There are worker X and you want to give them the stick. Prudence. How are you doing? Unataka kumpea stick bana. Hataki kufanya kazi. You have to deal with them. Punishment. These are examples of punishment. These are examples of what? Punishment. Mtu anaweza kuuliza swali. Give examples of punishment that can be given to the employee. Anaweza kiwa kama ulikuwa umemiss kazi 3 days, unaweza fanywa nini? Unaambiwa you work those days, ndio? Unalazimishwa. Extra working hours to compensate for the time that you have lost. Kama ulimaribu machine, what do you do kama ulimaribu machine? Unalipia itengenezwe. Kwa nini? Ni waka ambaye anakusumbua. So are you seeing how this, kumbuka tuko kwa individual change management. Now we are saying in individual change management, we are saying in individual change, you want to increase their awareness, their competency, challenge them. You want to do this. And to do this, one of the things you can do is what? Carrot and stick approach. Under the carrot and stick approach, you can use Frederick Herzberg's to motivate the worker who's working very well. And also if the worker is a worker who needs the stick, you can use Douglas McGregor theory X. Now, can I say something? Say my yes. It's an engagement question. Can I ask you? Can I tell you something? Yes. Okay, unaona hapa kwa ways of motivating somebody with a carrot. Unaweza tumia gani? Why? Unakumbuka vitu za theory why? Unaweza zitumia hapa. Because vitu za theory why ni za ku encourage the what? The worker. Hebu nitajie vitu za theory why. How to motivate worker why? Advancement, give, acha hizi. Kuna zile zake kando zinasema give them freedom, give them autonomy, liberation, achievement and continuous improvement, empowering environment, taking on responsibility. You see, hii na hii, one and the same. Theory X. Okay, sawa. Nisizelezea kila kitu na siku moja. I think pay cut is illegal in Kenya. It seems you're working in a very good place. Okay, sawa. That's all I can say. Hello. So this is this. Now let me continue. Let me build on that matter. Bado niko kwa the individual change management. Sema hivi. Let me come to this side. Let me grab it kidogo. They want to write. So, bado niko kwa individual. See, you can use the Adakar model. You can use the Adakar model to deal with individual change. So what is Adakar? What is Adakar? You see, I was listening to a baby in a spell. Nilikuwa tunacheka tu. Adakar, what does Adakar mean? It means awareness. It means, ushisikia Adakar before? Kama leo unisikia. Leo unisikia mara ya kwanza. Oh my. Oh my. I usually love your honesty. It's refreshing. Desire, knowledge, ability, reinforcement. Tukusikie maneno. Ukataka kudila change, kitu ya kwanza, you create awareness. Do the people know they need change? Do the people know that they need change? Do they understand that they need to change? People of Kenya, do they understand that they need to change how they elect leaders? Awareness. Create what? Then create a desire. If you had good leaders, this is the kind of quality and the standards of living that we have. Create that desire inside the individual to want the change. Knowledge. Empower them. Give them the knowledge they need to understand about the change and how they can bring about. Then ability. Give them the resources. You can't implement without resources. Give them the ability. Empower them to bring the change to life. And then reinforcement. What's to reinforce something? Kama ukute mejengwa, ndio nifanyia reinforcement. What is reinforcement? You're strong. So reinforcement ni kufanya hiyo change stick. Carrot ni kitu gani? Ya kureinforce. Carrot ni kitu gani? Kureinforce. Na kama umeintroduce change yako na kuna mtu anakusumbua hataki kudinat, you use what? The stick. Is it making sense? So sema hivi. It is the pro-seeky model. Is the pro-seeky model. Which is come up nayo and it's only project. That's a division accurate. Pro-seeky model. Founder anaitwa Jeff Hiat. Sometimes unasikia jina Jeff Hiat. Usishangae Jeff Hiat ni nani? Ndio alikaba hapo na nini? The Adakar model. So examiner anaweza kuuliza hivi. Using the Adakar model, discuss how to manage change. 10 marks. What are the 10 marks in maths chat? Using the Adakar model, discuss how to manage change. You will say something like this. As a manager, you can use the Adakar model to manage change in the following ways. Adakar, A, awareness, D, desire, knowledge. Hapa nitakupatia 1. Hii ni lazima 1 2 3 4 5. Nitakupatia 2 marks because umeniambia Adakar ni nini? Awareness, desire, knowledge, ability, reinforcement. So uchukue number 1, awareness. As a manager, when you're about to introduce change, e.g. technological change, structural change. Normally nenda sasa, nilikufunza tukianza. When you're a manager and you want to introduce what? Change, e.g. technological change or structural change, you need to create awareness. The people need to understand the kind of change you want to bring about. What is it that you want to bring about? This is because you want to stimulate. You want to stimulate their urges. You want to stimulate their what? Their urges. Number 2, desire. Desire. You must create a desire for change. This means you give them a vision of where they will be if the change is implemented. Give them a vision. Show them where they will go. Show them the positive impact of the change. And also show them the negative impact if you don't implement that change. If you don't implement this change, our business is going to come to an end. Business is a collapse. And all of you will be unemployed. Create that desire. Either you can create the desire positively or negatively. It's all upon you. Most of the time we advocate for positive. But kama una deal na watu wenye ni kichwa ngumu, negative. Unaona vile mtaki kuimplement change goja. Within the next 6 months, hapa kampuni inafunga. No, sasa. So you must create that what? Is alafu unasikia na mention how you can create desire. Number 3, knowledge. This is the know-how. You must train. Unasikia tunataka this is what we normally look for in your exams. You must train knowledge. Train them. Give them the information that they require to fully understand the change. Ability. Give them the necessary resources to be able to implement the change. Reinforcement. This is making sure that the change is permanent. You can use the carrot. Recognize achievement, work itself, responsibility. Find a way to explain how you can be able to make your change stick. Those who comply, reward them. Those who comply, promote them. Those who comply, recognize their good performance. Build a team. Build teams that will continue this change. Celebrate this change. Now you manage the first part. That is the individual change management. If you want to deal with an individual, how do you go about it? Let's put it. All right. The next one that I want to be interested in is what is called organizational change management. Organizational change management. Organizational change management. What is organizational change management? This is organization that occurs at the project level. Project level. Juzi tumesoma nini? Project management. Project nini? Management. So if it's Kenya, we are going through organizational change. Tumefanya SGR. Tumefanya express highway. Tumefanya Thika highway. Tumeka dam fulani na generate steam. Tumejenga hospitali fulani. We are doing agriculture. To invest in certain. That's organizational change being initiated through the what? The projects that are within the what? The organization. So we normally say that whenever you engage in organizational change management, what you need is proper project management. What you need is what? Proper project management. Hivyo and tunafunga hiyo chapter. Kwa nini? Juzi tumefundisha kuhusu nini? Project management. Tukasema you first have to understand what is a project, the project charter, the work breakdown structures, WBS, hello, project charter, hello, project initiation stage, project execution stage, project closure stage. Tukasema whenever you are engaging in a project, you must understand that there are constraints. How many constraints are there? 3. Ya kwanza? Scope constraint. Utafanya kila kitu. Cost constraint. You don't have all the resources. Time constraint. Kwa nini? One of the characteristics of a project is that a project has a starting time and an ending time. So that is that. Let me look at the last step of change. Inaitwa enterprise change. Enterprise. The last level of change. Enterprise change. Enterprise change. So what is enterprise change? Enterprise change is all about getting the competitive advantage. Enterprise change is all about getting the what? Competitive advantage. Hapa sasa ndo tunaingelea kidambwa strategy management. Strategy management. Look at Java. What are Java known for? What is the uniqueness and the differentiation of Java? What is the differentiation of Java? Tunaambia. Unaona Java kufanya very good coffee. But when you're in Java, what do you eat? There's chicken, very good. There's ugali, there's rice, there's beef. Hello? Did you know that? Hello? Or do I need to organize for a event tutemkia hapa chini? Ni organize ndio. Unajua utajilipia, mimi tunawapeleka niwaoneshe. There's alcoholic drinks. Kuna sijui margarita, sijui mojitos, sijui nini. Mojitos, sijui nini. Hello? No, these 5 days I was bring me this thing called mojitos. Hello? So, you see, differentiation to gain competitive advantage. Differentiation to gain what? Competitive advantage. It's called enterprise change management. It's all about the what? The organization applying a different strategy. Na tulisema hapa tunaangalianga Porter's generic strategies. Unazikumbuka? Porter's generic what? Strategies. Ya kwanza ni cost, leadership, strategy. Ingine ni differentiation, strategy. Ya mwisho ni nini? Focus, strategy. If you want to gain that competitive advantage, you find yourself engaging in those strategies. We also said you can engage using the arms of metrics strategies. Market differentiation, market diversification, new product development, new market development. What does it show? When we follow someone, we will confuse. Can I wrap this? All right. I hope it's making sense. Hello. Enterprise change management. The business wants to gain something extra. All right, let us look at the next thing. Say this, yeah? Whenever managers make decisions on change management, whenever managers make decisions on change management, they are characterized as, whenever managers make decisions on change management, they are characterized as, number one, they seek to harmonize the organization resources. They seek to harmonize the organization's resources. Number two, they involve a major kind of change. Number three, they are uncertain and deal with the future. Number four, they are resource oriented. Next one, they affect the long-term future, not future, but direction of the company. Your mission number 6, they seek to achieve competitive advantage. They seek to achieve competitive advantage. So those are the characteristics of a change decision. If whenever you are making a change decision, it has those characteristics. Number one, you want to harmonize the resources. What is to harmonize? As you say, a musician, what is to harmonize? Very good. Efficiency and effectiveness. Efficiency and
effectiveness. Synergy. Synergy. What is synergy? The unseen energy. Hello. For example, you have a calculator, na unajua kuitumia. Hiyo ni nini? Hiyo ni synergy. Because kuna ndo kana calculator na hajui kuitumia. Na kuna mtu anajua kutumia calculator na nini? So if you have your calculator, you don't know how to use it. Synergy. Resources are utilized for what they were meant to do. Then number 2, involve a better kind of change. Then they are uncertain in the future. They are resource oriented. You never find a change decision ambapo I cost resources. Na mtu anauliza, what are resources? The 5 M's. What are resources? According to Frederick, what are the 5 M's? We have men, we have machine, we have minutes, we have materials. What is the last M? What is the last M? The 5 M's: men, machine, minutes, materials, methods. Methods. These are the 5 resources, the 5 M's. What we need for productivity. Sisi ndo msoro kile uko nazo kwa notes. Angalia pale kwa Henry Fayol. Henry Fayol came up with these things. Yes. We amplify your. You amplify your capabilities of 5 M's. Yeah. It's amplify your. I'll identify 5 resources that managers need. Akasema kuna methods, men, machine, minutes, and materials. So when we say that change management requires resources, these are the resources inahitajika. So that is that, yeah. Another one is that they affect the long-term direction of the organization, and then they seek to achieve competitive advantage. They seek to achieve competitive advantage. All right. Let me go to the other side. So the next part is resistance. Resistance. Why do people resist? Why do people resist? Resistance to change. For example, I've talked with Rogers, and you've agreed you're going to have a class tomorrow in the morning. Tomorrow is Sunday, isn't it? From 6:30 to 9:30, 3 hours. Hello. Sawa, guys online. Hello. Tomorrow you're going to have a class from 6:30 to 9:30. Sawa. Respond. Resistance to change. Resistance to change. That's just an example. That's just an example. You never told us. We were not consulted. Tomorrow I'll be busy. There's something else. People always resist change. They want to maintain the status quo. Hello. Will you take that decision lightly? I think umezoea. Hiyo mtaa kuna mahali unapitanga unatandika mtura. Unakunywa soda. Ushazoea unajua muda nikifika hata naweza home kadi nifunga macho. Alafu naambiwa hama hapo kesho. Go to Canada. Go to Canada. Sisi wamwende Canada. Utaenda? Unaweza kukataza, no. Na ukifika huko to adapt also will be difficult. As a marine changes, you think it is cold here, you don't know cold. All right. So the media resistance to change. The organization and its constituents, resist change due to its nature, due to its disruptive nature. Change always is going to disrupt. So we have what is called causes of resistance. This is what the examiner wants to know, causes of resistance. Why do people resist change? Number one, fear of the unknown. Fear of the unknown. You don't know what is going to happen. You are unaware of what will be the impact of the change. And that is why, to solve this fear of unknown, you must educate. You must give knowledge. Adakar ilikuwa ilikuwa nini? Knowledge. You knowledge ni ya kutoa nini? Fear of unknown. So ukamweleze Adakar, uteleze Adakar na useme wakati wa knowledge, you give knowledge to remove what? The fear of the unknown. Number two, need for security. Now, if you can remember Abraham Maslow gave us the hierarchy of needs. The second need is what? The need for security. Whereby Rogers was saying, tomorrow I want some assurance. So for example, acha kazi tuanze consultants. Acha kazi tuanze prudence. Wacha kazi tufanye consultants. Consultants kuna pesa, okay, sikatai. Lakini next month you have to pay rent, school fees, you have to eat. Okay, sikatai. Also, you need security. Before you take some decisions, protect yourself first of all, because you may find yourself having been compromised. The next one is no felt need for change. No felt need for change. You're comfortable. I mean, using that we go for a run. We go for a what? A run. What are you trying to say? What are you trying to say? You can drink hot water and lemon. What are you trying to say? So directly. Exercise to lose. No fair for change. You know more intelligent, you know science. Let me tell you this. Sometimes you find that's just on a light note, yeah. There are people you will find with issues. Now when I introduce change, there is no felt need for change. That's why if you go to a Dakar, unafaa kufanya nini? Wewe ukienda kwa Dakar, prudence, stop laughing. Ukienda kwa Dakar, what do you need to do? Do uweze ku delay problem. Kwa Dakar, which one will help us? Kwa hizo letters, which letter will help us? Prudence, kwa Dakar, which letter will help us? The D. Yes, very good. The D. Why the D? The desire. Because we create the desire to change, the need to change. Are you seeing it there? All right, let's go to the next one. The next one is vested interests have been threatened. What's it say? Self-interest has been threatened. Self-interest, vested interest has been threatened. Whenever your interests have been threatened, then you find yourself in a situation that you don't want that change. The change will make you lose the tender. Don't just want to tell. I'm not a propose system. No, I don't want that change. So tunaenda hapa, kila mtu ako na interest. Nyingine poor timing. Poor timing. Hello. Ukianza kuniambia je kwa exercise leo tunataka kukula. Do you think I'm going to be working with you? Hello. Whenever I eat, I want to relax. I'm sitting there pressure. No, you need to check very well. Now this one, kumbuka the business life cycle. Ukiintroduce change mali wrong, people will resist. You must find the right timing. If you don't get the right timing, then there's going to be a problem. Alafu ya mwisho, lack of resources. Lack of resources. People resist change since they lack the resources. Hello. All right. Okay. Let's go to the next thing. Barriers to change management. I can wrap this. Barriers to change management. You are trying to deal with these people, but unashindwa. Why? Ni kwa nini unalemewa? Barriers to change management. Barriers to change management. Barriers to change management. What are the barriers to change management? Number one, lack of enough understanding about the change. Lack of enough understanding about the change. Lack of enough understanding about the change. You don't understand the change. You don't understand the change. Hello. You don't understand the vision of the change. You don't understand the goals of the change. And that's why you will resist it. Number two, lack of information. Lack of information. Lack of information and communication. That's why in Adakar we do the knowledge. We do the what? The knowledge. Number three, lack of focus. Lack of focus by the change agent. You're trying to help someone change, and yourself, you are not serious. How will they change? And you're someone supposed to be the role model. Lack of engagement with the stakeholders. Lack of engagement with the stakeholders. Lack of engagement with stakeholders. So what does this mean? What does this mean? You're trying to implement change about women. Now, women. You want to implement change for your customers, and you have not engaged your customers to see whether they need the change, whether they desire the change. What do you know? Next one, no clear process, no clear plan, process for implementing. You are just implementing your change purpose. It's like trying to lose weight. The other day I was at the gym. So and then this young lady comes in. Hello. Anakuja, akachukua kamba, akaruka mara tatu. 1, 2, 3. Akaenda kamba. Akaenda kwa kuna cycle, akakalia cycle. Cycle na katatu dakika hii. Akatoka. Akaenda akachukua dumbbells tudogo. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Alikashi. Akaenda kuna tayari kwenda kwa kimo tayari mara hapo. Achana tayari. Akaenda kwa kioo. Then kuuliza, do you think it's going to create an impact? Hii saizo. Hapo acha. You need to work at least 2, 3, 4, 6 months, and then you can look at yourself in the mirror and see the change. What do you think? Rogers was saying that I want to have big muscles, very big muscles. Alafu wewe uchapepreza school, alafu ndio angalia kwa kioo. Do you think it's going to work out? So no clear plan, process for what? Implement. You're just doing it haphazardly. Maisha ni yake, basi nisishughulike.
personal trainer.
Nimeongeza kwa personal trainer, nasema namkatia. Mbona nikatia nikuja chini. So unachana yeye ndo. So no clear plan or process for implementing. So really it is interesting. Whenever you want to implement change, you must have a clear plan, otherwise it will not work out. All right, nyingine, little or small success is not celebrated. 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 Therefore, it feels stagnant. Therefore, it feels stagnant. You feel like you're not moving, but actually you could be moving. You feel you're not moving. It's like, again, let me come back to losing weight. Unaweza kunataka lose weight, ile ukweli serious, eh? But then you do the work, you run. Unafanya vitu na alafu unaona hakuna kitu. You are at 90, and you are still at 91 or 92 sasa. You wanted to go to 85, yeah? You go here. You work, you go 89. You work. Sasa unaanza kuona that you are stagnant and then you start giving up. No, you need to celebrate the small success, small milestones. As you celebrate the small milestones, it builds the desire in you to continue to meet your target, the vision that you have. This is not an exercise in class. I'm just using that as an example. Nyingine, progress is not measured. That's another one. Progress is not measured. So you really can't track. Progress is not measured. Progress is not measured. Therefore, you cannot track. You cannot track or control the change. You can therefore not track or control the change. You can't track. You need to be able to keep track of your progress. And therefore, if you're able to keep track of your progress, all right, to talk here. Okay, let me look at management of resistance. How to deal with resistance. Management of resistance, or how to deal with resistance. Right here. Yeah, management of resistance. Management of resistance. Management of resistance. Is that you mean how to deal with what? Resistance. How do you deal with resistance to change? How do you deal with resistance to change? That is the key issue for us. How do you deal with resistance to change? Number one, education and communication. Education and communication. Education and communication. You need to educate. Remove that fear of the unknown. Let them understand that the change is going to work out for them. Communicate. Tell them what it is that you want to do. No, don't leave them there hanging. Tell them what it is that you desire to do. Number two, participation and involvement. Participation and involvement. Those whom the change affects, involve them. Hello. You want to change someone, but you're not involving them in the process. Hello. You must be involved in the process. Hello. You must be involved in the process. That way you feel, if you're feeling danger there, that's why you feel you're part of the process. And when you feel you're part of the process, you become committed. You become what? Committed. Number three, providing emotional support during hardship. Providing emotional support during hardship. Yeah. So wakati una implement the change, kutakuwa kuna hardship whereby the change is not really working out. Maybe we go, if this is the curve, maybe we may dip kidogo, then utarudi baadaye on track, yeah? So during those stages, you may need to do what? You may need to give some emotional support. In life, only children and women are given emotional support.
men are not given emotional support. Do you know that? Yeah. That's no longer the highest rate of suicide that you are going to kujinyoka. Utapata ni men. You see, there's a lot demanded and required of men. And whenever men are unable to meet what is expected and demanded of them, they are shamed. Yeah, they are shamed. The term is weak man. The term is not a real man. The term is not a true man. The term, sunazijua. These are tactics, they are shaming tactics. So, really semanga survival of the fittest here. But having so much people here, men also themselves, they put a lot of pressure on themselves because they have that innate desire to be able to have purposeful and winning lives by providing for the people they care about and being able to lead their families and those who are around them towards a vision that they have. And whenever they are unable to do that, some of them slump into depression, and then into substance abuse, alcohol, drugs. Alcohol is drugs, okay? Alcohol, drugs, they slump into alcohol, something else. So, that's what says unaweza pata kama Prudence amepoteza fare. Akienda pale Mr. Price Archives, akaivi tu dakika 2. Naanze kulia. So, madam, uko sawa? Are you all right? Nimepoteza fare. Na Prudence will go home with 10,000 even. Shika. Wewe enda jaribu kupoteza fare Rogers. Enda usome Archives. Mwanaume unalia nini? Nimepoteza fare, utapigwa kofi. Temp hadi nyumbani. Walk. Unalia nani? Toughen up. And of course, men have to toughen up from a very young age. Okay, what toughen up to do? So that's one of the reasons why we see that they need to boys need to be raised around men so that they can be toughened up. Actually, you don't always get what you desire, and you have to work with what is available, and you have to make it work. Today young boys are very in touch with their feminine side. They're very in touch. They're very sensitive. We are raising men who are very much sensitive. Kidogo hivi tu ashaanza kulia. They're being encouraged. No, express yourself. Fungua roho, usifungie. What do you think? You can cry, but you're a pillar of strength. You stay strong so that others can lean on you. Ukianza kubujikwa na machozi. Wamenyang'anya certificate. I was the one to find. That's that. So unajua alikuwa ananiimiza taja mtu wewe unajua tu. So see, sometimes we are living in very interesting times and the dynamics they're shifting. But even as these dynamic shifts, there are some underlying truths that we must come to understand and appreciate. See, men prided themselves in natural selection. Men prided themselves in going to work and being able to provide for their families. This is what they were taught. This was engraved in them. But then today's society, our young boys, come and argue that whatever you are doing, the other guy can do it better than you. How is that supposed to help them to be a better person? So some of them have this attitude of they don't need us. They don't need us. The other day I saw a lady being harassed in a car.
And then she was being harassed. She was being harassed by one man, of course. And the other men were just standing there, just looking, unbothered. Unbothered. And somebody asked this question, where are the men? Where are the men not protecting that lady? And that got me asking a very interesting question. Very interesting question. Why were these men just standing by? Why were they looking? Instead of going to help, they're just there, they're looking. Why? Something fundamental. Something that needs to be investigated, because men naturally want to protect. So the 4 P's. They want to protect, they want to provide, and they need to be prayerful. So why were these girls standing there? But you need to investigate.
High speeds.
You need to investigate. Usichukule vitu kwa face value. Kile kifanyike hivi, ati inakuanga hivyo. Investigate. Wakati unaona bocha kuna vijana kaa ama mobet na kuchonga mtaani na kupiga. Kuna this something. Ati jamani tabia mbaya, jamani Mungu. You see a guy, jamaa mamo drink, anajenga suga na toa lock, the whole day ameshinda vitu leo. Usichukulie ati tu ni mlevi, no. Something you need to do. There's something fundamental that has happened. So there's something that has happened. Unachukulia tu mume siku hizo amekuwa levi. Mume siku hizo anakula drugs. No. There's something that has happened in the nature. Is it nature or nurture? In the nurture. There's nature and there's nurture. And which one is which one? There's the nature of men, and then there's the nurture. The nurture is how they are brought up, how they are raised. These things need to be investigated. They need to be investigated. Wajakoya jingia bado. Wajakoya kingia tabaki.
So provide emotional support. Nyingine ni negotiations and agreements. Remember, you will not always win. Negotiations and agreements. Where you are unable to win, you want to introduce a change, and the change is difficult. The change is financial or economic in nature. You may need to compromise. Compromise. Negotiate. Negotiate with this customer. Negotiate with the government. Negotiate with the suppliers. Negotiate with the community. Community, we don't want to negotiate with them. Because you want to implement your change. The goal is to implement your change. The next one is manipulation. Manipulation and cooperation. Manipulation and cooperation. Cooperation. Work together. Manipulation and cooperation. Manipulation and cooperation, yeah? Make sure they accept what you want. Make sure they accept what you want. Manipulate them. Hello? And then we have this one, it's a very interesting one for me. Explicit. This is negative. And implicit. This is positive. Coercion. Explicit and explicit coercion. If you're a good person, you will go where? Where will you go? If you're a good person, where will you go? To heaven. And if you're a bad person, where will you go? So if you're a good person, you go to heaven. That is in positive what? Coercion. There's someone used to work in the river. That manager used to tell us, within 1 year you'll be driving. You'll be driving. If you continue working for this company, you will drive. Within the next few years, we will buy a land somewhere and generate a future. This company, within the next 3 years, everybody will be Nakwambia my friend, unatoka hapo hivyo unachapa kazi bila supervision. Kwa nini? Implicit, positive coercion, manipulation. Then we have explicit coercion. There are days you would come and say, this company within the next 3 weeks, we call on kazi. Mko wangapi? Mko wangapi? Timu ya sabini, 1 2 3 4 5. At least for that. Sales ziko chini. Sales ziko chini. Within the next month, 2 of you will have to. Na sijui ni nani. My friend, nakwambia so unasikia machi, hujui ni nani, so you are there shaking. Within the next 3 weeks, iko mtu anachiwa kazi yako. Nakwambia hiyo wiki nakwambia mnachapa sales, una convince customer. Ni kwa nini? You don't want to be where? The wrong side. So that was negative coercion, yeah? You have been manipulated with negative information to stimulate a particular behavior. Nakumbuka sasa, stick and what? Stick is the negative, carrot is the what? The positive. You want to reinforce a particular behavior. So that is how you manage resistance to change, or you reduce resistance to change. And these are just a few. Isn't it kidogo? Ziko mingi. You can what is called trade. Vitu ni mingi. Nimetusta kuangalia zote. There are so many ways you can reduce resistance to change. Actually, I normally say this. Look at the reason that they are resisting and suggest a solution for that reason. Tukiangalia reason 4, yenye walikuwa na resist. Reason 4 of resistance. What is reason 4? Lack of engagement. How do you solve lack of engagement? You engage in them, form teams, form group discussions. What is number 5? Lack of clear plan. Have a plan of how you're going to. If you look at the reason that they're resisting, you come up with a solution. So that is that. Now, the most important thing we need to now to understand in change management, that's one of the reasons we study it, is the models of change management. The models of change management. Hizi sasa hapa sana kuna swali sasa. Models of change management. Kuna swali. Examine hapa sana anataka kuuliza swali. These are the things that tunauliza hapa. Na ukipata unauliza model inaweza kuwa max 8, max 6, you never know. You never know 6 na 8. The model ya kwanza nitaangalia ni hii. Model of Catlevin. Catlevin inaitwa 3-phase model. Catlevin 3-phase model. Number 2, I will look at Cotta's 8 steps. Cotta's 8-step model. And then, okay, I will look at McKinsey 7S model. Nikifanya hivyo nitakuwa nimemaliza. Wacha tuanze sasa. Now the class has begun. Hii ingine ilikuwa tu. Ilikuwa breather. Kwa starter. It's online. Habari yenu? Are you following? Hello. Who is this? Joyce Kimani. Joyce, hello. So, nianze na yenye naitwa thank you Prudence for responding. Acha nianze na yenye naitwa Catlevin. Andika hapo Catlevin 3-phase model. Catlevin 3-phase model. Catlevin 3-phase model. All right, so on your screen, draw that diagram. Inaitwa Catlevin 3-phase model. Draw that diagram. Hiyo. Inakuanga na 3 stages. Ichore tu venye iko hivyo.
Unfreeze, change, na refreeze. And change. Yes.
So that it is.
So, sasa hii inaitwa Cutlery three-phase model. Sasa normally sasa tunasemaga hivi, whenever there is a change, umachorizo tuko chini, sio? Whenever there is a change, whenever you want to introduce change, ni vizuri umeunderstand kuna change, ni vizuri umeunderstand kuna causes of change, ni vizuri umeunderstand that there are ways of managing resistance to change. Sasa swali ni hii, how do you go about it? We need these models. The first model is Cutlery. In this model, we say that the first stage is to unfreeze. To unfreeze, kama uko na pencil, unaweza andika hapo juu inatangwa to disrupt the status quo. Kama uko na pencil, inatangwa nini? To disrupt the status quo. Things the way they are probably not working, or you could do better. Mesikia statement yangu? Things the way they are probably not working, or you could do what? Better. That's why you want to do what? To disrupt the status quo. Now, how do you disrupt the status quo? Number one, you determine what change is needed. You ensure that there's a strong leadership support. You create the need for change. You manage. Now, let me go back to Adakar. What was Adakar? What was A? Awareness. A was what? So unadhani awareness inaingilia wapi? To unfreeze. Kuna watu hawajui wanahitaji change. Wako tu. There are organizations that don't know they need change. And there's an organization you were doing some consultancy for. Tukiwa approach, they're not bothered. But after thinking about it for a while, they call us 6-8 weeks later. So we went to create awareness why they need the change. Are you together with me? So in the Adakar, kama kuna pencil unaweza sema unaweza andika Adakar alafu circle A, because A hapa ndio inatumika, A awareness. You also do the D. Why do you do the D? Because it is in unfreezing that you create that desire for change. Now let us come to the change. In the change, what we do is this, is that now we initiate the change process. We bring in the K of the Adakar. We bring the change, we give the people the knowledge, communicate, dispel rumors, empower action, involve people in the so in the Adakar, here we do the K. Look at that. All right. So it's A, D, K. Yes. A, it's Adakar, A, D, A. So awareness, desire, then what is the A? Okay, K. What is the K? Knowledge. A person will make a knowledge, the K now. All right. Then after K is what? A. What is the A? Ability. Apa no neka the ability. You give the people the ability. Ona the last point upon involve people in the process. Of the Adakar, you do the what? The K and the A. Simple. Then what is the R in Adakar? The R emotionally reinforcement. Reinforcement is a kwa refreeze. To refreeze means now that you have introduced the change that you desire and that change is favorable, what you want to do is you want to make that change stick. You want to make that change become part of the organization. You want that change to become the new status quo. All right, let me discuss and say this. You want to left? I want to discuss that for a minute. Stop sharing screen. All right. I see so resume. You can post your comment. So we discuss the whole thing. Nipate nisome because miss out. Okay. Nilianza na unfreeze. Kwa unfreeze nikasema hivi because you rewind alafu usikie. Just read it through. You want to move the people from the frozen state. I'm reading this because of the recording at the post, but now I've resumed. Just a minute, you guys are online. So nisome mwenye atasikiza recording baadaye. You want to move the people from the unfrozen state. You want to break the status quo, comma, old behaviors, comma, ways of thinking, comma, processes, comma, people, comma, culture, comma, technology, comma, organizational structures, etc. That is what you want to change. You want to unfreeze it. You want to break that status quo. So I've said, do the following, write these few words in a different color. You must create a sense of urgency. You must create a sense of urgency. What does this mean? Create a desire for change. Create a desire for change and awareness. Create a desire for change and awareness. Create a desire and awareness for change. The next words, you must form a powerful coalition. Also write that in a different color. You must form a powerful coalition. See this, create teams that will help you to implement your change. Create teams that will help you to implement your change. And they will be your champions and role models of the change. They will be your champions and role models of the change. Number 3,
Write these words in a different color. Create a what? What does it mean? Create a what? Create a vision for change. Create a vision for change. Say this. Show them the future that is desirable and motivate, coordinate all efforts towards the vision. Create a vision for change. Show them the future that is desirable and motivate, coordinate all efforts towards this vision. Let us go to the third part. Let's go to the third part. The third part ni hii. Is it the second part? The second part is changing, the changing part now. Same kuhusu changing. Now that the people are unfrozen, they can begin to move. Now that the people are unfrozen, they can begin to move. Now that the people are unfrozen, they can begin to move. Say this. This is the transition. This is the transition. This is the transition to moving them into a new state of being. This is the transition to moving them into a new state of being. Say this. During this stage, there is uncertainty and fear. 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 Say this. You want to ensure that the people understand what you're trying to do. You want to ensure that the people understand what you're trying to do. All right. So let us do the following. Write this in a different color. Write this in a different, the first few words, yeah? Communicate the vision. Anika, those words. Communicate the vision. Communicate the vision. Communicate the vision. Say this. Deliberate and engage. Deliberate and engage with the stakeholders. Deliberate and engage with the stakeholders on where you desire them to be. On where you desire them to be. On where you desire them to be. Say this. Inspire them. Inspire them. Inspire them to move towards the vision. Inspire them to move towards the vision by breaking it down. By breaking it down into digestible parts. By breaking it down into digestible parts. By breaking it down into digestible parts. Very good. All right, they fall in a different color. Empower action. Empower action. I say number 2, empower action. Empower action. Sema hivi. Provide the necessary resources. Provide the necessary resources to actualize the change. Provide the necessary resources to actualize the change. Provide the necessary resources to actualize the change. Haika hyphen, minutes, machines, methods, resource, raw materials. All right, so you're here. All right, say this. You can also provide training. You can also provide training. You can also provide training to increase competency. You can also provide training to increase competency. Okay, so that is that. The next thing that you're going to write in a different color is create, let's see, create short-term wins. Create short-term wins. Create short-term wins. Say this. There is a need for a sense of achievement. There is a need for sense of achievement. There is a need for sense of achievement. There is a need for a sense of achievement.
See this. Celebrate your small wins. Celebrate your small wins as it creates a positive work environment. As it creates a positive work environment. As it creates a positive work environment. And coordinates efforts. And coordinates efforts towards a vision that is realistic. And coordinates efforts towards a vision that is realistic. See this? The small wins make the stakeholders feel valued. The small wins make the stakeholders feel valued. The small wins make the stakeholders feel valued. This increases their loyalty and commitment. 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 That is which stage now? Changing. You're trying to change the people, and you can see how you're making them change. 20, the last stage. What is the last stage? Refreeze. 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 The other one emotionally refreeze. Sema hivi. Say this. Refreeze. Say this. You want to make the new status quo permanent. You want to make the new status quo permanent. This is reinforcement of change. This is reinforcement, comma, stabilizing. This is reinforcement, comma, stabilizing, and solidifying the new change. This is reinforcement, comma, stabilizing, and solidifying the new change. Good. Say this. To avoid the people reverting to their old ways, that statement is cliche. To avoid people reverting to their old ways, to avoid people reverting into their old ways, you can use the carrot and stick approach. You can use the carrot and stick approach. So this, the carrot is for those who are willing and on board with the change. The carrot is for those who are willing and on board with the change. The carrot is for those who are willing and on board with the change. This stick is for the destructors. The carrot is for those who are willing and on board with the change. The carrot is for those who are willing and on board with the change. The stick is for the what? The destructors. Wale ambayo hawataki kufuatilia venye unasema. All right. See this? This is in a different color. Build on the change. 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 Sema hivi. Do not let up. Do not let up. Do not let up. So this, be consistent in what you do. Be consistent in what you do. Be consistent in what you do. So that the change becomes the new norm. So that the change becomes the new norm. Do not let up. Be consistent in what you do so that the change becomes the new norm. Alafu pointi ya mwisho. Pointi ya mwisho yenye unaandika na different color. Make it stick. Make it stick. Make it stick. Make it stick. See this. Anchor the change in the corporate culture. 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 See this. Let the leaders buy in. Let the leaders buy in and support the change. Let the leaders buy in and support the change. Let the leaders buy in and support the change. Let the leaders buy in and support the change. So this, discuss successful success stories. Discuss successful
success stories. Discuss the successful stories. Discuss the successful. And make it desirable, and make it desirable, and make it desirable, and make it desirable to be part of the change, and make it desirable to be part of the change. So hiyo ni nini? Hiyo ni Cutlery's three-phase model. Now, I have something for you. That is the first model. The second model is nini? Quarters. Look at your screen, draw that diagram. Andika tuende kwa model ya pili. It's going to be very interesting. Look at the second diagram. Andika chora hapo namba 2 na chora hiyo diagram. Chora diagram venye iko hivi. Alafu I'll give you 3 questions there. I'll give you 3 questions there. Look at that diagram. Hiyo ni Cotta's 8 steps. Cotta's 8 steps. Philip Cotta, John Cotta. We on the diagram. Yeah, draw that diagram. Inaoneshana. All right, draw that diagram. Draw that diagram. Hey, new members who are joining in. Hello. Sasa mtahanga bana. Tunamalizia sasa hizi. This is the last thing tunaangalia. Tunachora diagram, I give 3 questions and then we adjourn to next week. Na si lazima unavyo umechora kuanzia chini ukienda juu kama stairs. Unaweza anzia pia uko juu ukiteremka pia. Notice number 1 iko huko chini. Hiyo ni model jamaa amechora hivyo ndio ikae steps. Unaanzia hapa chini ukipanda. By the time unafika huko juu umeachieve kenye ulikuwa unataka. Now what do you notice? Zile points ulikuwa unaandika in bold kwa Cutlery. Umeziona zote ziko hapo? Alafu on hizi words ziko hapa kando. Let me use this one here. Like this one here, to create the climate for change. Hiyo ni kufanya nini kwa Cutlery? To unfreeze. Then to enable the organization to change. Hiyo ni nini? To introduce the change. And then to implement and sustain is to refreeze. I hope you notice that. You could create the climate for change, that is to unfreeze. You need to unfreeze. To engage and enable the organization to make change, you need to introduce the change. And then to implement and sustain the change is to refreeze. So I have 3 questions for you here. The first question is this here. Discuss Cotta's 8-step model. 10 marks. Discuss Cotta's 8-step models, 10 marks. Then these 2 very interesting questions. Ya kwanza ni hii. List 3 advantages of Cotta's model. List 3 advantages of Cotta's model. Alafu, list 3 disadvantages. 4 disadvantages of Cotta's model. So the first one is 3 advantages of Cotta's model. 4 disadvantages of Cotta's model. Let me answer those questions when we meet on Tuesday.
Alafu niangalie the last model. What is the last model? The last model is the McKinsey. The McKinsey model. See? All right. So it was me enjoy. I really like looking at change. This is online. See, we can stop there unless someone has a question for me. Nitakuja nijibu hizo swali, lakini sitajibu swali ya kwanza. I'll only answer question 2 and question 3. See? Question 2 ni advantage, question 2 ni disadvantage. I want to look at those two questions. The first one, I think you really even know the answer. Iko ndani ya nini? Catlaging. By the time I'm discussing McKinsey 7S, you'll be surprised. One of the S is structure. Wakati una implement your change, lazima you consider the structure. The other one is skills. Wakati hizo the 7S need things to be soma kwa planning, organizing, directing, staffing, and controlling. So